John said, this is what I'm like. He said, I was here. I was preparing the way. I was telling you I'm not the one. I pointed out the one, and now he must become greater, and I must become less. What an amazing attitude. What an amazing attitude. I think there's some things that we can learn spiritually from this. I mean, this idea of humility. John says it's about Jesus. It's about him. Yeah, but your crowds are getting smaller. Aren't you discouraged? No, it's about him. It's all about him. Yeah, but wasn't it so exciting when you know, it had so many people coming to you, and Jesus himself came to you, and wasn't that like a head rush? And do you remember the good old days? Do you remember when the church used to be full and folks used to get, and you didn't have trouble with a budget, and yet the only problem was having enough water? John says, you know, it's about him. It's about Jesus. How many churches have that attitude? How many churches want it to be about them? It's about us. It's about us. It's us versus them. And us versus them. And their church is growing, and man, I hate that. We're going to do something. We have to get another minister or something. Because, you know, we need to grow. We need it needs to be about us, and we got our budget, and we've got to take care of our building. And remember when we used to have such a big youth group, and you remember all the, and they forget that it's about Jesus. It's about Jesus. Look what John says. He says, a man can receive only what is given him from heaven. The seminary I went to was big into church growth. How to do all the right things to make churches grow. How to put your church building in the right place in town. How to have programs aligned for certain target audiences. That's a lot of work went into it, a lot of study. Here's the biblical concept. The one says here, he says, a man can only receive what is given him from heaven. Here's the scriptural idea, the biblical idea of church growth. If you are able to minister to people spiritually, God will send you people to minister to. If you are not able, if your focus is not on Jesus, if you're not pointing to people and saying Jesus is the important thing, if you're pointing to us and saying this church is the most important thing, or the movement that this church came from is the most important thing, you expect God to bless that? Do you? Yeah, you can do some certain things. You can work really hard. You can all kinds of good things you can do to bring people in. The question is, are people growing spiritually? That's really what it comes down to. And you know what God is interested in? The fact that they grow spiritually. Is he interested in the fact that we need more people? That we would like to have a bigger budget? That we would like to have more people up here singing? No. And those are all good things. What God wants to know is, are you pointing to the groom? Are you making it about Jesus? This is a really challenging thing for churches. It's a really challenging thing for movements, for denominations. I mean, we've got people we're going to lift up. If I say Martin Luther to you, maybe you treat that with some incredible respect and the movement that came from that. What if I said the Wesley's brothers? If I say Barton W. Stone or Alexander Campbell, maybe that means something to you in those movements. You know what is really important to God? The groom.